Picture two men standing in the same office parking lot, same age, same job title, same salary printed on the same kind of pay stub. One of them steps out of a modest $12,000 sedan, 5 years old, paid for in full. The other steps out of a brand new $45,000 SUV, leather seats, panoramic sunroof, financed over 6 years. If you had to guess which one was actually doing better financially, most people would point at the SUV without hesitation. Here is the uncomfortable twist. 5 years from now, one of these men will have paid roughly $60,000 for a vehicle that is worth a fraction of that number. The other will have quietly built an investment account worth more than the car itself ever cost. Same salary walked into that parking lot. Two completely different financial futures walked out. Once you see the real math sitting underneath a car payment, you will never look at a dealership sign the same way again. Meet Alex and Jack. Both 31 years old, both working the same job as project managers at the same engineering firm, both earning exactly $75,000 a year. 5 years ago, they stood in almost the same financial position, similar savings, similar rent, similar starting point. Then it came time to buy a car, and their paths split. Alex walked into a dealership and drove out in a brand new $45,000 SUV, financed, because the salesperson told him a payment that size was well within reach for someone earning what he earns. Jack walked into a used car lot and bought a reliable $12,000 sedan, paid in full, no loan, no payment, no interest. On paper, in the parking lot, Alex looks like the one who made it. Jack looks like he is still saving up for something better. Look at where their money actually went over the next 5 years, and that assumption falls apart completely. Here is why so many people earning a perfectly normal salary end up financing a car that costs more than half their yearly income. Dealerships do not sell you a price, they sell you a monthly number, and a monthly number always sounds smaller than it actually is. $800 a month sounds manageable. $45,000 sounds enormous. Both describe the exact same car. The salesperson's job is to keep your attention on the small number for as long as possible. On top of that, a car is one of the most visible purchases a person makes, parked in the driveway for the neighbors to see, pulling into the office lot for coworkers to notice, waiting outside on a first date. Alex was not just buying transportation, he was buying a signal, proof to everyone around him that his salary could support a certain kind of lifestyle. The dealership understood that emotional need perfectly, and priced accordingly, because financing companies do not profit when you buy a car you can actually afford, they profit when you finance one that stretches you as far as the bank will allow. Every extended loan term, every add-on package, every upgraded trim level exists for exactly one reason: to keep that monthly number just low enough that saying yes feels effortless. Let's look at the real numbers behind both decisions. Alex's $45,000 SUV, financed over 72 months at 9% interest, comes out to a monthly payment of roughly $811. On top of that, insuring a brand new luxury SUV costs him around $220 a month, compared to Jack's modest sedan, which costs about $90 a month to insure. Add those two numbers together, and Alex is spending approximately $941 more every single month than Jack, just to drive a nicer vehicle to the same office job. Over 1 year, that gap comes out to $11,292. Same salary, same job, same paycheck landing in both of their accounts on the same day, and one of them is quietly handing over an extra $11,000 a year for a car that will be worth half its price by the time the loan is paid off. Now here is where the story stops being about cars and starts being about compounding. Jack does not just avoid that $11,292 gap, he takes it and invests it every year into a simple low-cost index fund, averaging a historical return of around 10% annually. Money invested like this does not sit flat, it compounds, meaning the growth itself starts generating more growth. In year 1, that contribution alone grows to roughly $12,400. By year 5, with Jack contributing that same amount every single year, his investment account crosses $66,000. Alex, over that same 5 years, has paid close to $58,000 in loan payments and insurance for a vehicle that, thanks to depreciation, is now worth somewhere around $15,000. Jack spent $0 extra and built a $66,000 asset that grows on its own. Alex spent $58,000 and is left holding a car worth a fraction of what he paid, with nothing else to show for those 5 years of extra spending. Stretch the same pattern out to 20 years, because that is the timeline that actually determines what kind of retirement each of these men gets to have. If Jack keeps investing that same $11,292 yearly gap and simply lets it compound, his account crosses $600,000 by year 20. Alex, meanwhile, has likely financed 2 or 3 more vehicles in that same period, because a car loaded with debt rarely lasts a full lifetime without a trade-in. And each new loan resets the clock right back to a payment book. He has spent well over $200,000 across those 2 decades on vehicles that are, on average, worth a small fraction of what he paid for them at any given moment. Jack, on the other hand, has never stopped driving a paid-off, reliable car, and has instead built an account that could fund a down payment on a house, cover his children's education, or simply let him retire years earlier than Alex ever could. Same salary, same years worked, 2 completely different financial outcomes, all traced back to one decision made in a parking lot, repeated quietly every single month for 20 years without either man ever thinking twice about it. None of this means the answer is to drive the cheapest, most uncomfortable car available just to prove a point, or to feel embarrassed about ever wanting something nicer. That is not the lesson here. The real lesson is about recognizing what a car actually is, a depreciating tool that gets you from one place to another, not a scoreboard for how well your life is going. Jack was never sacrificing quality of life by driving a $12,000 sedan. He simply refused to let a vehicle decide his financial future. A car that costs more than half a year's salary is not automatically a mistake for everyone, but for someone earning $75,000 a year, it is a decision that quietly redirects hundreds of thousands of dollars away from their future and toward a depreciating asset sitting in a driveway. The goal is not poverty disguised as discipline. The goal is simply making sure the car serves you, instead of the loan serving the dealership for the next 6 years. A car should move you forward in life, not quietly hold your future hostage in exchange for leather seats and a badge on the hood. A car loses value the moment it leaves the lot, no matter how much it costs or how good it looks in the driveway. An investment does the opposite. It grows quietly in the background while you go on living your normal life, checking on it maybe once a year, if that. The $45,000 SUV will always turn heads in the parking lot today. It will never once turn into a retirement fund, a paid-off house, or a moment 20 years from now where Alex gets to stop working simply because he no longer has to. 2 men, same salary, same paycheck, same 5 days a week at the same desk. Only one of them let his car quietly decide his future for him. So the next time you are standing in a dealership looking at a monthly payment instead of a price tag, ask yourself a simple question. Do you want to impress the parking lot for the next few years, or do you want to actually own your future for the next few decades?